This is Ashley Williams with The Wholesaler. I am the new assistant editor and social media coordinator, and today I'm speaking about social media with Terry Brock, one of our longtime columnists. Terry, you want to say hi?
Well, hello there, Ashley. It's great to be with you today, and hello all of our readers and now viewers here on The Wholesaler.
Thanks so much for taking the time out of your Friday. We're just going to jump into about 4 or 5 topics today. And Terry, if we could start with just the basics. How do I learn what platforms I want to be on? How do I know if I should be on Twitter or Facebook or both? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, that's a really good question, Ashley, because let's face it, someone's out there, we're doing business. We're trying to get work done, and we don't have time to put a lot of nonsense out there of, my cat is sleeping, look at this picture, or, I'm standing in line to get a hamburger. We really don't care. What we do care about is how do we use social media in order to get more business, to get more business done. And so the platforms all have their own strengths and weaknesses. I would say that it's good to get started with one and get to know that one. Then as you build a comfort level and you're doing more with that, then move on to some others that are natural. A good one to start with, I just tend to like, is LinkedIn, because it is unabashedly, it's about business. It's about getting jobs. It's about connecting with people. The communities that are in Facebook or in LinkedIn are incredible. And then I would also recommend getting into Twitter in a limited way first. Twitter is excellent for listening. More than just broadcasting a bunch of stuff, you want to listen. Too many people try to do social media the way that broadcasting was done years ago. Where you buy time on TV, you buy time on radio, on newspaper, and just say, hi, we're wonderful, we got a sale this week, come on by, and we don't want that stuff. We don't like it ourselves personally, and guess what? The people that are hearing that also turn it off. The thing to do is today engage with people. Engage in social media. Listen to what people are talking about on Twitter, particularly. Listen to what they're talking about in the groups on LinkedIn. Contribute value. For instance, if you're talking about say a new sink that we have coming out. Rather than saying, hi, we've got this wonderful new sink. Instead, talk about some of the problems that people have had and then show examples that are there. You don't want to overtly sell when you're in LinkedIn. Think of it kind of like being a member of a country club. You want it to be something that is very useful and helpful where you're with people. So there's a lot of good on all the platforms. I particularly like YouTube for showing how something can work or giving instructions and help on that. It's really good, and a lot of our readers are using YouTube for things just like that. Facebook also, with over 1 billion people out there, billion with a B, that's something you really need to pay attention to. But for business, look at having your own page and being able to connect with others and listen to what they're doing as well.
Great. And kind of on the topic of, what do I post about to make sure it is engaging? Can you speak on where to find original content or how to correctly credit someone else's content that you're putting up on social media?
Actually, that's a very important consideration because content is the key out there. I like the way that Mari Smith says it. She says, content is king, but engagement is queen, and she rules the house. And I think that when you look at being able to use that engagement, because you have compelling content, it's great. Find out what customers are looking for. Where is their pain? Listen to your customers. No big surprise there, but listen to them and what they're doing. And hey, here's a little ninja trick that some of our distributors and readers can use. Listen to your sales force. They're out there talking to people. Listen to the reps, or if you're going direct, listen to what they're saying about problems that they have, etc. And then let the salespeople write about that as well. They should be blogging. They should be doing something. If they can't write, that's okay. Let them talk it out, and then you can have somebody else put it together. Hey, this is why God invented high school students. You can get people that can write pretty well, or you get recent graduates from English or journalism, and they can write this for you. But you want it to be something that's real. When people are experiencing real-world problems, and salespeople are out there every day. So use that, and then also, I like the way you referenced it, Ashley, curating others' content. looking at what others are doing and credit them, because then you become the resource. You're not just someone who's saying, here's all my stuff, I'm really cool, but rather you're going, hey, did you see what so-and-so said, or what they're doing over here in East Wakahuga at their store? They're doing this and this, and do it. And we know East Wakahuga is a cool place to be, but put all that in there and see what it's like, and talk about real-world examples of what people are doing, say in their showroom, and show some real examples, not talking about your stuff at all, but what you're doing is over time you're building up credibility, that they realize, wow, when I read what Ashley is saying, she always has good material. I want to keep going back to her columns. I want to see her stuff. And then every so often you're mentioning, oh yeah, and by the way, we're doing this at our showroom on da-da-da-da. And people see that and they realize, okay, she's got a business. She's running her business and selling that. But more than anything, she's contributing a lot of value and making sure that content is there. One other thing I'd add on that, your content can and should be in the form of not just text, but also audio and particularly video. It's easy to do video today. You can put that together very easily, and if you don't know how to do that, hey, again, this is why God invented high school students. So they can show you how to do this, how to put it together and make it happen. And then you would have some really good quality video to communicate and produce some very good content.
Great. And once I have that content, Terry, talk a little about how do I manage it? What kind of tools are out there to help me put it out there without spending too much of my personal time at work? And also logistics and data also on what times are best to post on these social media tools. Anything that you've heard or seen that you could share with our readers? Yeah,
there are a lot of tools out there that make it much easier. One of the tools I see a lot of experts using is Hootsuite. That's Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a great tool for really organizing what's happening, particularly if you're real busy and you just don't have time to put into a lot of social media. Hootsuite is a great little tool to help you schedule posts that will go out at certain times, and also to keep track of important people, important topics. For instance, using Hootsuite, you can track everything that is said about key products that you have, or about your particular business, your store. Anything said about it, you need to know about it. And Hootsuite is a great way to do it. You just set that up as a keyword, and then you see it. And also, do it for your competitors. Find out what people are saying about your competitors. You want to know it way before everyone else does. And with a tool like that, you can use that. And then when you're scheduling, it really depends on your market. Some people will say, you should always do it at X time, whatever the time is. And I find that there's some pros and cons, but the only way you really find out is to test. To keep on testing. And in marketing, you never stop testing. But find out when you're getting a little bit bigger bang for your buck. Find out when, according to, say, Google Analytics, or if you're using something more sophisticated, finding out what time of day people respond and to which tweets they're responding. There's some tools that give you that ability. Google Analytics is great for looking at website and what people are using there. And when you're using tools like Hootsuite, you can then find out more of what's going on with it as well. So I look at that one. Also look at Buffer App. Buffer App is very good for scheduling, sending information out, and it gives you the ability to do that listening that is so very important.
And you kind of got a little into my next question of analytics and metrics, which is kind of debatable in the social media world. In your personal opinion, are there any key metrics that people just starting out on social media should be paying attention to? Should they pay attention to how many followers they're getting, or should they pay attention to how many shares of their content they're getting? Any of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I just tend to be a little bit biased toward this. I think the number one metric you want to watch is cash in the bank. You know, cash in the bank is really a good way to do it. And another closely related number to that is sales. You know, bottom line, net profit. That's really important. And ultimately, I don't care what you're doing on social media. If you have no money in the bank and you're broke, then it doesn't matter how nifty and groovy you think your social media is. However, from a business point of view, practical, bottom line, hard-nosed, looking at it from the real world, when you work with social media, you can get more business. So keep an eye first and foremost on that. But the number of followers you have, that's okay, but really, in the business that we're in, it really doesn't matter how many followers. What you want are the quality followers, to get key plumbers that are reading what you're saying, to get key contractors, people that are going to buy, housewives who are going to go into the showroom and select things. This can be very important. Find the key people that you want, and that's where you want to focus your effort. Think in terms of something like Klout. Ashley, you're familiar with Klout Score?
Yes,
Klout is very important, and what you want to do there is find people that have a higher Klout score within those key areas, and that would work very well. Matter of fact, shameless plug here, I'm writing a book on Klout. Gina Carr and me are putting together a book. We were just out at Klout headquarters recently, talking to their CEO and talking to their people, and we find that's a great way to identify who are the key influencers. That's what you want to pay attention to, not just the mass. In the past, we would do buy the radio, the TV, the newspaper, all that stuff, and try to spray and pray marketing. You just spray it out there and pray, oh, we sure hope that something's working, oh my. But, that's not a good way, it's not a smart way, it's not a good business way to do it today. Instead, identify the key people that are there. Look for those kind of metrics and really be diligent about it. Keep refining and keep looking at what metrics are most important in your business. Because ultimately, what does matter is that cash in the bank and the earnings that you have. And all of these factor into it from the chain, starting with the idea of you're going to write a content article on a particular topic. That gets attention. People read it. They get in touch with you. You are able to bring them into the showroom. They look around. They go, I like that. I'll take 35 of these for that project we're putting together down the road. And you think that's how it all works. And then ultimately the cash comes to the bottom line on that. So those are the metrics I would suggest most of all that you keep in mind.
Great. Well, thanks so much again for taking the time to speak with us, Terry. If you could give a quick plug on all your social media that people can find you on.
Sure, we've got a lot of good information on how to get started. Particularly, I've got a program on time management for social media, and you can find out about that over at terrybrock.com. Just bounce over there, Terry, T-E-R-R-Y, and Brock is spelled the right way, B-R-O-C-K. So terrybrock.com, and I will look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thanks so much again. You can also find The Wholesaler at thewholesaler.com, and you can look for us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google+, and LinkedIn. Until next time, thank you.